When the Canaanites came to Ashkelon, they wanted to build something that looked like home. And so they decided to build things the way they used to build them when they lived in Syria and Lebanon. And one of the things they wanted to build through their wall was a huge city gate. This is the city gate at Ashkelon. It's one of the oldest arched city gates in the world. One of the interesting things about it that you can see from looking at it is the way in which the parts of the wall that are preserved, that are in white, start to tilt inward. Now the top of the arch is reconstructed. We reconstructed it more recently in order for you to be able to see what it would have looked like. But it's not original. The original parts are in brown and white. And those parts show the way in which the gate is beginning to form an arch. Some people have thought for a long time that the Romans were the first people to use arches. But we found that almost 2,000 years before the Romans, that these Canaanites were building arches. And they were building arches because that's the kind of thing that they used to do when they lived in Syria, when they lived in Lebanon. And then when they decided to come to Ashkelon, they wanted to build something that was like home. And so they decided to build an arched gate, just like they liked to build before. This arched gate, you can see the white pieces are plaster, and they're covering stone. This is a little bit of stone on the front. Stone is very rare in Ashkelon, so when the Canaanites came to Ashkelon, they could only use stone for the most important things, like the outside of the gate. Most of the time, they needed to use mud brick. And so if you look over here, you'll see that the rest of the walls, they used mud brick. And so these are big pieces of mud that they would make in forms, and then they would lay them flat, one on top of the other, and this is how they would build their walls. It's not as strong as stone, but it's far easier to find here in Ashkelon, where stone is very rare. And so using the mud and using the stone, they built a gate that was just like the gate that they had left back home, and it was something that helped them to know that this was the kind of city that they wanted to live in.